Okay. Time lapse. I think it's important to do the time lapse, and you can see it being produced. I'm having the usual how far did I go with this thing? The way I've done it is probably the wrong way around. Never mind. Right, so we're getting set up. Now what I've found, so I've got the paint sorted out. I use these plastic plates. They're handy, I get them for the car boot, so you know these types of things. If I don't clean them, I just throw them away, but I really should clean them. I just threw some away. They do get thrown away. They're ideal. There's never a problem for that. So, feeling a little bit, I really did want to go to Edinburgh, and there's an element of, but I've got to do this. So I'm looking at it, and the problem when you're doing art, I find, is you're right next to it, right there. So you hyper focus, and it's knowing when to stop, and it's knowing when it's done. It's a really difficult thing. It's very, very difficult. Right, so let's go. Now, one thing that I'd like to point out here, this paints, because I haven't really been doing much painting, so the high quality paints like these ones and the cheap ones like these cheap ones, funnily enough, the high quality ones have gone ruined because I've been here for like 5 years, 6 or 7 years. Isn't that weird? Why would the high quality ones go? They're brownie. They're better, and yet the cheap ones are still okay. It's probably because the cheap ones are just shit. Right, shut it. Right, so where we start? Let's just shut it. Let's go and clean this out. Clean this out. Right. Right, hang on. I'll be back in a minute. I'm back. Right, so, do we need the light on? The weather has been sort of, oh, fucking hell. Right. This door, it goes funny in the summer. Where the fuck's the keys? I have to lock it because it expands and contracts. A bit like my brain. It contracts. I'll lock myself in. I have to lock it for it to shut it. Right, there's a lot that needs doing. There's a lot that needs doing around about here. Now I feel cold now. There's a lot that needs doing around here. So there's never a shortage of anything to do. Right, it's not like I don't have anything to do. Now what did you do with the brushes that came out of there? What the fuck did you do with the brushes? You clown. What the fuck did you do with the brushes? Did you lay them down up there? You fucking idiot. Oh, God knows. Right, let's get stuck. Let's get on with this. Right, so what are you going to do? Try a bit of red in there. Not too much water in it. We're getting away from that. I think we're needing thicker paint now. Less water. You know? Art's a weird thing. I look at art, there's people go on, there's an art fair I was looking at today, and I feel totally like I just don't blend in with any of these art groups or anything. But there's this woman going, oh, I've got a painting of my husband. Drawing it was. There's a bit of fucking hair in there, see that? Get that out of there. Oh, God. And I'm just looking at it, it was really, really good. You know, but it's like, well, what the fuck why would you spend so much time doing that? And the reality is, you could actually get the AI computer to do that. You know, I mean, you could argue you could get the AI computer to do this. I don't know, could you? Could you get the AI computer to do this? The way I'm doing it? Whereas if you're getting a representational image, you know, there's no doubt you could get the AI computer to do it. But this image, this painting, is unique because it's kind of based on the foibles of what's going on in my mind, you know, and that's what's unique about it. So it's not really about it being brilliant necessarily, you know. It's about it being unique. Does that help explain? I'm glad it doesn't. It doesn't make any fucking sense to me either. Right, so I'd rather be at Edinburgh, but what I tend to do if I don't go to Edinburgh or to, I always try and make myself useful and get something else done. So there's lots to do here. Gonna have to have a wee trip to Falkirk, to Braidwoods. We need to go to the dump as well. I'm not keeping up with Stirling Council. You know, it's down to like once a month, and I thought I could avoid going down to the tip of my car, and it's just I'm just not keeping up with it. So I've got rubbish here that needs to go. So that's another thing that needs doing next week. Got so much to do. And I have spent quite a lot of time. Yesterday I did a video about Craig Houston and Silver Hot Take. So it's mostly Craig Houston, and I sort of learned a bit more about it. So it's getting into the domain where it could be like a bit weird, you know, it's like, wait a minute. Yeah, but I don't think it is. And also, I find people interesting and what motivates them. Flawed characters. Who knows, we might do a wee painting of him. You know, I think you've got to take it in your stride. And the way he carries himself is not good. I don't think it's going to work out for him. It's alright if you're just hanging about a bunch of Rangers supporters. And it just begs the question, if they're all as dumb as that, it must be even worse. You got fucking Celtic supporters. You know, it's like, it would be even, how would it be even worse? Well, yeah, they're going to be even dumber, aren't they? So that's their icon, this guy, who seems to like J.K. Rowling. What a fucking complete fucking twat he is. Nobody should like J.K. Rowling. Nobody. Right? Unless you're a billionaire. Because she doesn't give a flying fuck about anyone but herself. And to use a bunch of radical feminists and lesbians like that and spend money to undermine democracy is what she's done is pretty horrible. But a lot of ordinary people don't really bother about things that I go on about. So that's like an example of what I was going on about yesterday. Human rights and the EHR. Now, how's that look? I'm quite loud, yes I know. Right, so does that Patterson arm thing come across the front of that? I think it should. Or should that go over the Patterson on the clock? Yeah, we'll keep it like that. We'll have the clock in front of it. Right, so how did we get this mini colour, the burnt sienna colour? Where did we get that from? I think it wasn't quite easy to get. It's almost like that, isn't it? Didn't even have to mix it that well, did I? I go on about things, yeah. I mean, I probably spend too much time fighting battles that nobody cares about. And a lot of numpties do deserve to be treated like shit, don't they? Because they're interested in football. Football's for dummies, you know, it's like, football, well, what the fuck, you know, can you not do something better than football? So a wee bit of mix of red. I've never been interested in it. So is that the same colour? I don't want to ruin the colour. I want to make it a bit richer because you can see all the brush marks in it. What else do we need to? Yeah, you know what we could do in here? We could do a bit of yellow. In here for somehow or another. So I spend a lot of time arguing with Nazis, which is it's not healthy. It doesn't really do anything. Or does it? Does it change anything? Should I give a shite? Why should I give a shite about other people? You know, they've got to fight their own battles, haven't they? Well, that yellow's really making it better. It's making it more mixing colours. King ding dong. Right, that's a bit of brown in it. Fuck did I know, is it all going horribly wrong? Yeah, so does it really matter? Does it have to be? Do you know what you don't have? You don't really have any orange here, do you? Can you mix the paint on this canvas? Well, I suppose you can. It's better to do it on the plate, isn't it? So I went and used far too much paint here. So we'll get this bit here really like bold, because it already is bold, but we'll get it even more bold, and we shouldn't have to go over that again. I mean, the colours don't have to, you know, they don't have to be exactly what I'm seeing in the actual you have a sort of semi-abstract feel to paintings. It's quite nice, isn't it? So some would argue that I'm using too much paint here, and that would be a fact. It's too much. And there's a hair. A hair! Does it matter? Does it matter? I don't know what that is. Is that a funny bit in the canvas? Oh no, it's a hair. That's what happens when you use cheap brushes, isn't it? I always like to think that I can create a masterpiece just, you know, just using any old shit. I mean, actually it would be cool if you could actually use shit. Oh, shut it. Put people off. So hopefully we'll get some more artwork. It's what I'm hoping for, right? It's a very funny thing because people are not going to want to pay for it. So that's just a case of ironing them out, isn't it? So you're after a more, well, to be quite honest, you're looking for people that are willing to pay. I was going to say the wrong thing there, but you want people to believe in you. So you don't want people that are treating it like you're doing a kitchen or something. They're paying for you to be you know. And right, so let's try a smaller brush. They're paying for you to do your shit, you know. So really, for the most part, they just have to kind of agree with you, really. So you're the expert, you know. You're the expert, get on with it. Anyway, so the drawing that I was telling you about was of the woman got this guy this artist, I don't know if it's a woman or a man, to paint her husband. No, draw, it was drawn. It was absolutely brilliant. You know, it was absolutely fucking brilliant. A drawing. And I'm thinking, why the fuck would you spend so much time doing that? You know, when... So am I a bit jealous? Well, I don't... Maybe a wee bit. The ability was fucking amazing, right? But I just don't get it, really. I'm not quite on board with that type of art. So perfect, you know. To me, that is boring. You know, it's a boring picture of a boring person. And it's done by his wife, you know, so he's under the thumb. He'll get thrown out if he doesn't put the bins out, you know, and he's not going to be able to express himself about it, you know. Can I go to the pub? No, he's probably not allowed to go to the pub. And he's just going to go, oh yeah, I love it, dear. So did she buy it for him? Am I being overly cynical? Yeah. You know, is it for her? When people buy gifts, like married couples, what's it for? But this is coming from somebody that's been divorced for... I've been divorced since 2002. So I've been free to make my own fuck-ups since then. And it's absolutely wonderful. So I'm trying to sort of bring out the burnt orange, but in a light sort of way here in the bonnet, because it really is a lot lighter. So we need to... It is a lot lighter here. So we need to... There's a mini badge as well there. So really what we're doing... So I'm right in front of this painting, and that's what I'm saying about the hyper focus. And you can actually get so obsessed with it, you don't realise it does look brilliant, and you just got to step back and look at it. You know, and that's what I'll be doing. But I'm planning on going in for breakfast. I've got to get this finished, get on to the next thing. You know, before I get too bored with it, you know. I'm finding it quite interesting, yeah. Right, so... I mean, I went to college and everything, and that's where I learned. I already had the talent, but it needed to be honed in, you know. And that's why you need to go to college, because you're meeting people that are talented people, and they're lecturers and everything, and they all have different sort of, you know, they all have their own different skill set. So if you don't do that, you'll tend to, you'd just be stuck in a room sort of painting, I suppose, painting trucks or something. So you need to develop your interest. Well, they need to develop your interest, and that's what they get paid for. So I'm not sure, but at the end of the day, there's no why. There doesn't have to be rules with everything. You know, you can do it your fucking way, but the art world is so wide, and it's everywhere. But it's also difficult to pin down, because people would tend to think, you know, you're somehow you're not contributing to society, you know, that sort of thing. I have to say, it's not been made that easy, is it? You know, that type of thing. When you have to make 64 grand in Great Britain to stand still, I think it would be quite difficult to come along and become an artist and make money. I can see that being a bit of a challenge. You know, yeah, so It's corporate greed, the old corporate greed thing. So I'm trying to get this a bit lighter and a bit more of the but we need a bit more okay, there's a bit of blueness in there which I don't want. So we'll get some white down there. So I haven't quite figured out how to do these bits. The idea is, do I cut the tape, because there's tape around the edge there. I could actually just rip it off and then paint in the bits that go missing, if you like. I could do it that way. You know, I could, it really is painting by numbers, you know. Painting by numbers. And these mini drawings I did that are in Switzerland, they're on my YouTube. I think they're really brilliant. You know, I thought at the time, oh, they're not quite good enough, they're not this and that. But with the benefit of hindsight, they actually do look really cool. Certainly in the context of in my YouTube banner, you know, the banner thing on YouTube, they look really good. There's another thing about this, I've already mentioned this. I have real doubts when I'm doing this. I've always been like that. I don't think it's going to work, and it's not working, and I'm not happy with it. It's going to be terrible. I don't know how to do it. And these are very real personality problems that I have. It's almost like you're doing the first painting you've ever done, you know, and you just don't think it's going to work. And you're going, what the hell am I doing here? It's so trying to, I mean, at the end of the day in life, you've got to do something, haven't you? Something. You can't do nothing, but do something. You know, you can't just stay in your bedroom. You've got to come out of that bedroom, make your mark. But it is difficult. You've been, especially for young men, you've been told that you've got this pervasive thing telling them they're bad and all the rest of it, but these weird kind of radical extremists who really should be, but they've got right into the government and policies and everything. Yeah, so no much wonder people end up going to the dark side, which is the sort of LGBT thing. That's the dark side. It's not, none of it is good. Who knows? Why the fuck do I care? What the hell you going on about? Let them do what they want. They're going to do what they want anyway. Do you think I have any influence on my daughter? No. Can I really do much? No. She does her own thing. She doesn't give a fuck what I think, and that's the way it is. go and see her at her birthday. Try to advise or whatever, but sort of discreetly without making it too obvious. We've all been young, we've all done daft things. You can't make people be friends with you, and you can't make your children be friends with you either. This is an unfortunate part of it. You can't do it, you know. Just can't do it. So what you've got to watch with this is you don't keep going over and over and over, and you're not really improving things. This is what can happen when you're doing paintings. That's why you've got to step back and look at it. I'm aware that obviously doing this is probably, watching on videos, maybe slightly tedious. No, see when I went to that art thing, I got invited to an art thing. There was these artists there, and I seen them there, and I knew them from Stirling. There was two of them, and I tried talking to them, and the two of them fucked right off when I went to speak to them. Just not interested. It was so obvious, it was unbelievable. You know, they couldn't even try. And that's because I think their artwork's fucking crap. You know, and it's boring. It's boring shit. Is that what the public wants? Well, maybe it is. Maybe that's what the public want. Maybe that's what the public deserves. Boring shit from boring people. Okay, their skills are pretty good. They're quite creative. Their techniques are good. But it was really sort of obvious. Yeah, I did feel a wee bit put out, but I thought, oh, they could have fucking spoke to me. And it was like, oh, there's this really embarrassing person turned up. I need to go and speak to somebody else. That's what it was like. And so you're not going to get anything interesting happening with them lot. It's just more repetitive pish. They'll get the grants, and they'll get the, because they fit the bill because they're women as well. So women get preferential treatment because of bullshit. And that's just the way it is, really. But you've got to go, you don't depend on any of that shit, That's why I wouldn't want to go and have a studio there, because I'd end up falling out with them. It was like that at college. I fell out with a lot of people. Because it's like they're a bunch of fannies, that's why. So I'm just trying to lighten this bit up a bit as a sort of light bit of the bumper. It needs to be more white. But it's not actually totally. Is that wrong what I'm doing? Is that too bright? He probably is a wee bit aye. Lighten it up. Yeah. I mean you would think. I started going on about what I was trying to do, and the two of them, well, one in particular just fucked right off. Didn't even listen. I mean, I left them for a while. I didn't even go and barge up on them. And I kind of had to talk to them. That's not right, that's too yellow. But fuck them and their vacuous shit, They're the top dogs. That's how it's gone. It's become that the most boring people are the top dogs in the art world because of diversity. Diversity quotas. So this it needs to be a bit more like tomato soup, that sort of red. Fuck yeah. So this is what happens, I'm going over and over this. And you know, you're sort of trying to finish it, right? And you know, it is sort of difficult. Going over and over and over. So I'm trying to knowing what, so pastels are better. You're going to know when it's finished with pastels better. Painting, it's not. It's oil paint's an absolute nightmare. So if you wanted me to do an oil paint, I'd be needing I'd be needing at least £1,000 to do it. You know, that's without a doubt. I'd be needing £1,000, 2, 3, who knows? You know, it's just like it would take months to do it. And that's a fact. As Robert Spell says, that's a fact. It's funny, in social media you get all specific types of people that are you know, what the influencers, and you have to work out which ones suit your, you know, what you believe or what you think should be done. So Robert Sproul, and you also got to like listen to everything they say about everything. You know, that's what I do. You know, and anybody who starts supporting J.K. Rowling, for me, I'm out. You know, that's my thing. J.K. Rowling, no, that's a real big red flag. So anybody that starts mentioning J.K. Rowling, but I think a lot of them are just quite vacuous. It's not a lot of them, but some of them are. So they'll just say anything, and I think some of them on YouTube are just there, definitely there, just to make money. You know, that's exactly what they're doing. So I think they'll say anything if it gets the views up. So try to find the ones that are being true and being truthful. And they're noticing it. I mean, they're all obviously in it for the money. And how much of a psychopath is Charlie Veitch, for example? You know? And the other thing about him is he is a video maker, but the situations that happen are manipulated by him. You know, when he goes out with his camera, I don't think he's a positive influence necessarily, but yeah, I mean, I still find it interesting, don't I? I mean, they're feeding the corporate greed, aren't they? With their videos, and if they don't feed it, they don't get paid. Don't get fucking paid. So I need to go over the number plate again. Okay, what are we going going to do. I need to stand back and look at it. Oh. Jesus. Jesus be Christ. I like the way the burnt orange has turned out. That bit there. I like that. I like it. There's lots of things I don't like about it, but fucking yeah. That windscreen's needing to be pulled up a bit. Well, we could do that now then. Right, so it's needing to be up about there somewhere. Little wee things like that. Then we need to go over. I'm not happy with the white bits. They need to be less white and more red. What do I need to do to achieve this? I think we need a bit more red in amongst it. No shit, Sherlock. See, right there. We don't want it to be too watery. No. Aye, so what else can I moan about? I can moan about all sorts of things. Order. It's all about order, isn't it? It's about order. People want life to be ordered. And if you want your art to be ordered, well, yeah, that's what people are like, and they want the art to be ordered. They want it to be ordered. So how ordered? How ordered do you want it to be? It's that where your art starts to go stale, because it's too... if you look at Adolf Hitler's art, I know that's a bit of an odd one to bring into this conversation, but if you look at it, you'll see what I'm talking about. Somebody who's mentally deranged does art. Somebody who's mentally disturbed, mentally deranged, doing art. So that's gone sort of yellow, which I wasn't really wanting. So we'll get more white on it. Try and get that bit of red, bit of bright red. A little bit. Change brushes. This brush is pretty crap. Get that brush to fuck. Who's that? Who wants me? Who? Who is it? I should have went to Edinburgh today. I'd have been better doing that. Aye, I should have done. Should have went in Edinburgh. And there's reflections and everything on there. And there's that, I've got to put that little it's just not cutting it, is it? And there's a fucking brush here. That's these stupid brushes for Aldi. That's what that is. These cheap fucking brushes. Just do a bit of a dry overlay on this. Try and put a bit of reflections and stuff on. That might do it. It's funny when people come away with a killer question because they think they've got you. I was just thinking about that with art. Sometimes that happens in art. They go, oh, like that shit like that. Got you, you fucked up, you clown. And you go, oh God, you're a moron. You're a fucking moron. Ah! You're a fucking clown. I don't know if I should keep filming this because it is getting a bit. It's taking too long. The time lapse, yeah, I think the time lapse is good. A good way to. But the other, it's taking too fucking long, innit? I'm the one that's supposed to be able to do this shit, so I'm the one that's supposed to be doing it. And if I can't do it, I'm a fucking failure. Right? So. And you are using the wrong brush and the wrong paint to do that. Right. The wrong brush and the wrong paint at the wrong time. What the fuck's that, dear? That's fucked. Oh God. Oh shit. You sort of do, when you're doing anything, you always sort of get your favourite brush, don't you? Like, oh, I like this one. So you take it to bed with you? I don't think you take it to bed with you. I think you're going a bit too far with that. So it's like, yeah, I mean, how do you navigate the world when there's so much tyranny around? Oh, well, people are at it and that's just what it is and you have to avoid them, don't you? You have to avoid them. Avoid the at it peoples. When I have made that number plate bigger than it actually is, sort of deliberately, which is sort of a bit of a problem because then you forget you've already done that. And I mean that's such a weird thing because imagine like somebody going along and say, it's like because who's in control of it? Who is it? Is it me? So if somebody else says, oh, I don't like, because if they're paying for it, right? Oh, I don't like the way you've done that. I don't want, and then it becomes there's no point in you paying somebody to do it, is there? But when it comes to, say, I suppose, maybe painting your house or something, you pay somebody because they've got the equipment and the skills and the experience to do it, so you trust them. And you pay them. So it's slightly different. It is a slightly different scenario. So you couldn't really start overpowering somebody. You leave them to it, don't you? To get on with it. So you've got to lay trust in them. That they are going to do a good job, for what you want. And that's where the whole thing. So, but art's a weird thing because us artists, we can turn around and say, "Oh, you don't understand what's going on here. We can explain it all as bullshit," and you'll go, So, I tell you, there's Callum, right? see if there's the sales techniques. Sex sells, right? So there's women, and it's actually happened when he's been working in my house, because he did up my house that I've got here, and he did up the last one in Gala Shields. If I'm selling something to some woman, and she's got doubts about whether say it's something electrical, or she has some kind of doubts about it, like fear in it that it's maybe not, she's getting done over, or she's going to get ripped off by me. Buying a Hoover, and it's going to be a fucked Hoover, right? If Callum's, this happened, if he's there, he will sell it to them and they'll give him the money and fuck off, and it's because he's attractive. Or they find him sexy. It's as simple as that. And I've said, well, that's down to your salesmen. The salesmen, men and women that sell things, I think for the most part they have to be sexually attractive and psychopathic. And guess what Craig Houston's job was? Sales. That's why he's a twat. Right, gonna have to go and clean this one out. It's horrible, all the water's horrible. Right, so I'm gonna put, I'm just gonna, oh shit, gonna do that. Right, so back. Sort I'm not totally thrilled with what's going on here. Right. Yeah, let's try and. So I've got a bit of white to go down there where the spotlight is. I really should have went into Edinburgh today. The weather's alright. I knew yesterday that there was no excuse for not going in there with the weather. You know, and last night I was sort of like two minds about it all, and then I thought, right, I'll take the car. That's what I wanted to do. That's what I should have done. But I kept going over it in my mind about how this painting's being done. You know, and that was like really going over my mind, and that's kind of why I'm here. That's why I'm stuck here. I'm never going to be happy with this, by the way. I just sort of am like that, really, when it comes to paintings. Sort of being happy with it is something highly unlikely. It's not likely to happen. At some point I'm going to have to stop. So I've just made an arse of that V. Just made an arse of it. My parents were so fucking weird, honestly. We had quite an abusive upbringing, me and my siblings. It was abusive in a way, because I think it was that came from my mother, actually. You know, it came from her mental instability and my dad's inability to deal with her. So there's a lot of stuff. It was quite horrible, and then you got to reflect on it once they're dead. Once your parents are dead, you can reflect on it, and you need to try and have some kind of peace in your life, and I think I have, to some extent. A lot of the reasons why I didn't have any peace was because I was attracted to women that were mentally deranged, just like what my mother was. And I think that's just what you do, you know. You meet somebody that's not mentally deranged, or somebody that's quite calm or something, and you won't find them exciting. That excitement you crave, it's really destructive and it's really bad. And that's how it basically. But what we're taught, like, okay, I'm going to bring this topic into Craig Houston and J.K. Rowling. They want to eradicate trans rights, is what they do, right? What they're not realising, or they maybe do realise it, is that in order, like, do we all, everybody, shall we go back to the 1950s? Everyone. You know, not just trans, everybody. Everybody goes back to the 1950s. Are the women going to go, aye, that's great? Because let's face it, you're not going to be able to do fucking half the things, any of the things you're doing now that you take for granted. Because you're going to have to shut up, go on with things, get pregnant, have children. You won't get a car of your own. You won't be allowed to have a fucking career and all that shit. So that's the problem. They just want the tiny minority of people to take their rights away from them, and so that we can have this utopia for them. That's what they're actually doing. And I think with him, he just doesn't want to talk about it. He genuinely doesn't want to talk about it. He's just not interested. So why don't you fucking shut up about it then? Stop going on about it, you fucking arsehole. Because your little pals like it, that's why. Your pals like you beating up on people. Metaphorically, I'm talking. And this is a guy that suffered from depression. This is the funny part of it. He suffered from depression, and yet he's hurting people, other people yet. So I don't think he suffered enough from his depression. Or I think he's maybe just too much into that Rangers football club thing, where he'd be surrounded by sycophants. And that's what he is surrounded by, sycophants. And I'm not saying they're gay, right? I'm not saying that. But it's similar to it, isn't it? And these boys. So I've worked that out. So I've worked out that Silver Hot Takes is a weirdo, and seems to mention children too much, and Craig Houston is hanging about boys. That's deflammatory. They deserve it. They fucking deserve it. They fucking deserve it. We'll out-pervert them. They'll be more of a pervert than anyone else. They deserve it. They deserve it. I'm actually getting a bit fed up with this. And I am aware that I'm talking complete shite as well. Is also another thing that's going on. God, so yeah, we need it to be less white. Less white. All these ideas come from these mad people at universities, don't they? We need the public to be less white. Oh, and it's like, oh God, here we go. And there's some white person stuck somewhere with no money, homeless. That's a white privilege. And you go, are they privileged? No, they're not privileged, are they? But anyway, the SDP, he's the leader of the SDP. He's going to get money for that. It's a useless fucking party. It's got no chance of getting elected. They don't have any MPs, do they? So it's all the leader of the SDP. So he's going to get money out of that, isn't he? So he's a fucking grifter, isn't he? Got on the political bandwagon, getting money. Who pays for it? Who pays for that shit? When he puts video after video after video on. That's what I do as well. Is that what it is? I do that too. I do that as well. It's not really white. Very few things actually are white, you know. So it's trying to sort of blend it in. Be arrogant as well. It's my painting. I can do what I like with it. I can paint what I want. I'm going to try and avoid doing paintings actually. I prefer pastels. I could do like 100 pastel drawings the time it's taken me to paint this. You know, it's like painting is a pain in the fucking neck. Who the fuck wants to do painting when you can do pastels? So you get your message across with the pastels. You know, it's a message, it's a medium. That's why they call it a medium. Alright, okay. Let's do this wheel in a bit. Okay, so it's a bit vague. The picture's not really picked it up very well. So it's going to be a bit vague accordingly. And we also need a bit of white around the edge of the tyre. Somebody going on holiday? I think we will try and cut the tape, but I don't know how difficult that's going to be. The thing you shouldn't do in life is tell other people you don't like somebody. I've just done that. I've just been doing it. I've just been doing it though, haven't I? I've been telling somebody I don't like. I've been telling you I don't like somebody, and I'm going to tell, and that's my mantra, is that you don't do that. So you just went and done it, and now you're telling them not to do it. I'm going to probably not do so much videoing with it. I'll keep doing the time lapse one. I don't really see much point in, especially when I'm not really all that chatty now either. It would be alright if I was being so chatty, but I'm not. So I think we'll go in and have some breakfast in a momento, and so what you kind of do, you shouldn't really mix, you know, like white and black to get grey. You really need to use all the different colours, the dark colours of the colour pyramid. And well, in this case it's okay, but I did a painting of a Cortina. I sold it actually. I didn't sell it for much. I sold it down in Cumbria, and I was trying to get a sort of greyness from the white, and because I used black, it didn't. You needed to use the sort of dark browns to get it to, you know, to. So we're getting darker down here. You know what I'm trying to say? You needed to use the darker browns to make it I suppose a lot of it is about what do you see. I've always thought that, like, how is it somebody can criticise what somebody's painted? How do you know what they see? Is that because we understand that we all have similar, or why do we understand that? We all have a similar, we see things similarly. And there's creatures that see things differently, so if a creature did a painting, but then what creatures are going to buy paintings? You know, they're not going to buy them, are they? They're not. They're not good creatures. Are not good. So you're doing them for people that can see similar to what you can see, aren't you? Right, so a bit more of white, a bit less of the. So getting a bit too dark up there. Bit of patina. That looks better, doesn't it? That grey wheel arch thing looks better. What I've got to watch. I can't spend days on end doing this. You know, I've got to like hone it in and say, right, there you go. Just imagine if this was a restaurant and there's people sitting through there waiting. They're fucking starved to death by the time I get to them. You know, that's really what's. So I'm going for. I do go for. We all do, but go for like a dopamine kick and everything. So at the moment, I'm not getting that kick because I'm not happy with what. I'm not really satisfied with what I'm doing. So that I'm not satisfied. I should have went to Edinburgh. I shouldn't be doing this. You know, that's what I'm really talking about. But what I'm thinking I'd like to do with this is do more of this. You know, sadly, I think it'd be more rewarding than going to Edinburgh. You know, and so if, you know, hopefully I'll get some more, you know, commissions or whatever, what I call them. So they should come from the videos, you know, the ideas, the travelling, the videos. So I want to be out and about, you know, out and about, experience and enjoying the world. Let's have a look at that. How's that look? Do you know what's got? Oh, God knows. How can we detract from that? How can we? It's very bright. I mean, you can do it abstract. You don't have to. You don't have to follow what you see. You know, you don't have to. You can. So, for example, let's just go for that grey. What could we put a touch of blue in the grey? Yeah, let's do that. Touch of blue in with the grey. The actual. Let's get a wee touch of blue in with the grey. Let's do grey, but without you got the thing is you can be spontaneous as anything when you're doing that, but you also have to not fucking destroy what you've just spent ages doing. So we need a bit of white in there. We'll go over that tar, the road surface. Give it a bit more. It's not bad, it's a bit more of a. Let's put a bit of blue in it. I mean, the idea is you can get everything reflecting, you know, from the atmosphere. Needs a bit more water. That paint's about had it. It's a good quality paint as well. Where's the tape go? God, it's there. Yeah. That's too dark now, isn't it? So we'll lighten it up. Lighten it up now. Lighter, lighter, lighter. Lighter. Light, 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 light. So make it more interesting, rather than an arbitrary sort of grey road. So you've got a bit of everything in there. I can remember the art teacher, I can still remember him in the Mackay Academy. He was watching me doing it and he says, that is amazing what you're doing and you're going to have a great future in the art world. And I got all funny and started, he says, don't detract from it. I started sort of going all a bit nutty. And I was quite a damaged person actually. Damaged by my mother. Some of the things that I did make me cringe when I think about it. And when I think about it in terms of protecting your children, you know, your job as a parent is to protect your children. And I think because it was kind of decided by the broader family that everything was my fault. Well, that's what I thought. So one of the things I used to do was I'd go hitchhiking. And that is unbelievably inappropriate. See, my grandchildren or something like that, I mean, I've never even met them, but see if I thought they were going to go hitchhiking at 11 years old or 10 years old, I would take an absolute mental breakdown. You know, I would not allow that to happen. If I could stop it. There's a problem with that because the way things are going, you have less ability because the system will step in and get in between you and your family if you leave the slightest bit of cracks. And I went away hitchhiking in Inverness and everything. I remember hitchhiking down the A82 to Stirling and I came to my auntie's. I mean that was really out of order. You know, but then, to be fair, well, was it different times? Well, it was. But there were still things happened back then. There was atrocities happened. There was people murdered and, you know, I think my parents were really negligent. And it was actually my dad was offshore. So there was a limit to what he could do. You know, because he was leaving the children in care, you know, with my mother. And a lot of the things that happened, on reflection, now that I think about it, a lot of it was really bad and she was wrong in so many levels. And it's not popular. It's always a family tradition that they blame me for everything. That's kind of, and the reason that I'm not part of that now is because I don't speak to any of them. You know, that's the only way I could really solve that. Well, they didn't want to speak to me anyway, they don't seem to like me, so again, you can't make people like you. You know, if they don't like you, they don't like you, and that's kind of it, really. So it's just the way it goes, you know. It's just the way it is, and you always got to remember there's always plenty more fish in the sea, and there's people that will like you, but the ones that don't, they don't, and that's it, and they never will. And whatever their reasons are, it's their problem. On that note, my brother's coming to visit. He's messaged me. I think he's coming to visit in October, so that'll be nice. Right, so how does that look? Well, it's a bit more sort of, the brush strokes are important as well, because you can see which way they're going, and you can maybe blame the artist for being lazy if they go a specific way just because it was convenient. So I'm sort of thinking we should maybe stop, have some breakfast. It'll give me a chance to really think about it. Okay. So thanks for joining me. It's getting hot, the sun's shining in. Thanks for joining me. Bye! We'll be doing the time lapse from now on in, because I think I'm getting a bit depressive. Some things I'm speaking about are not very helpful.